Jan is a co-founder and CEO of Verold and was the winner of 2010 TiESep Business Venture Competition. Verold received substantial amount of financing from leading Canadian venture capital fund in very difficult market environment. Jad, however, has moved on to his next new venture, which is Project Beagle, and last week it got funded?
Yeah.
Last week he got a big amount for that. I'm not allowed to say what the amount is.
Whatever you want.
Okay, it's a $4 million investment that is won. And he's already received $1 million in cash. He's a big believer in the power of good story. He holds an MBA from Rocky School of Management and BE Computer Communications and Engineering from American University of Verold. And if I stand anywhere between you and Jan, I will
leave you alive.
There you go.
The excitement's coming up. I can't hold it back anymore. I love pitching. I love the ability to get up and tell a story, no matter what it is, right? And you know, I was just talking to Sunny, and we were discussing something about entrepreneurs. You know, some entrepreneurs come up to me and they say, Chad, you know, what's the most important thing about a pitch? And I tell them, you've got to be excited about your company. A lot of entrepreneurs, they come up and they want to sound serious, right? I'm serious, I know my stuff. But if you don't sound excited about your company, if you're not excited, how can you get other people excited? If they're not excited, why should they care? So anyway, that's why every time I come up and pitch, I can feel this energy bubbling up. And the challenge, the trick is how to contain it, how to focus it, how to channel it in a way that you get other people excited about what you're doing. Because in the end, that's what really matters, right? So a lot of people have been talking some great stuff about pitches, how to do it, how to structure it. But I want to take a step back, and I think this is very important to ask this question. What is a pitch? Does anybody know what a pitch is? Come on, all of you have pitched. Any ideas?
It's a speech or presentation that has
Okay.
the intention of convincing someone of doing something or pursuing certain action.
Well, investor pitches, yeah, but you're right. It's something that you deliver for the intention of getting something in return, right? Whatever that is. This is critical. Why is it critical? Because when you're walking into an investment pitch, what do you want to get out of that investment pitch? Ideally a check. You're probably not going to get it in the first pitch. But what you want to get is continuity, right? You want to continue going to the next phase towards getting that check. I've seen a lot of people prepare pitches, they set up their company, but they forget what the objective is, right? And if you forget what the objective is moving along, continuing along that chain, and it's kind of hard to go in that, to get what you want if you don't know what you want, if you haven't prepared your pitch for what you want. So always, whenever you prepare your pitches, you got to ask your question. Why am I doing this pitch? What is the purpose of it? Again, if it's an investment pitch, I want to continue so I can get my dollars. If it's a sales pitch, I want to get a client. If it's a recruiting pitch, you know, as CEOs and founders, you're going to have to go and pitch to potential employees to come and join your company. It's the same pitch probably you're going to get to investors minus financials and all that, but you still have to paint the vision and you've got to get them excited. Right? So there are different purposes for a pitch. Always remember, put in your mind, what am I doing this pitch for? So that when you actually deliver it, you keep that in mind when you stay on target. So we talked about what is a pitch used for. There are different uses for pitches. It's not only just to get dollars. That is specifically an investment pitch. There are sales pitches to get clients, a different flavor. There are employee pitches. Sometimes you want a board member, right? And you know that person will get you massive credibility, so you've got to give them a different type of pitch than what you would give an investor. What's in it for them? You have a question? Go ahead,
I was just going to say, it's always an ask. You're asking for something. Like, that's the simplest.
Yeah, you're asking, yeah, that's right. For the purpose of getting something in return. That's correct. That's correct. But keep that in mind, because I've seen and I've listened and given feedback to so many pitches. And when you ask people what do you want, they don't have an idea. So all I'm saying, it's just, you know, the lesson that I've learned the hard way is keep in mind what you're asking for. That's a great summary. Now, there are lots of types of pitches, right? I know I put them up here, but can somebody tell me, you know, off the top of their head, what's the most important type of pitch? Or at least the foundation of anything else?
Elevator speech.
Sorry?
Elevator speech, I was thinking.
I can't hear you.
Sorry, elevator speech.
Elevator, what is an elevator pitch?
Well, you just have maximum 2 minutes to get someone interested.
Have you ever been in an elevator that was 2 minutes, right?
Well, it would stop sometimes.
Yeah, but you're not gonna get that lucky, right?
Well, 1 minute, 2 minutes, that's I think.
You know what?
Nope.
Here, hi, how are you? How are you?
Hello, how are you?
No, I'm asking you.
I'm fine. I'm fine, thank
So
you.
tell me what you're doing.
I ask good questions.
You ask good questions. So
Yeah.
what is your company doing? What are you trying to raise money for?
Well,
Oh, here's my floor. Thank you very much.
I don't have a company yet.
I know,
but
but I wanted to put you on the spot to make you realize you've got 10, 15 seconds. So what is, in my opinion, I don't care what they say, 2 minutes, all that, that's bullshit. When you meet a person, you've got maybe 15 seconds. You can say 2 sentences, if you're lucky, in 15 seconds. And for me, that is the foundation of any pitch you give. You've got to have a core, what's your core? I'm the...
CEO and trust advisor to the CEOs.
There you go. Done. He can say, hey, how are you? I'm Trusted Advisor CEOs. He's got it. It's slick, it's smooth, it explains what you're doing. And if you walk into the room, let's say, you meet Sonny. Hey, Sonny, how are you? Listen, I want 2 minutes of your time. And he's thinking, why the hell should I give you 2 minutes? Listen, I'm working on this solution that automates back-end hotel inventory management systems. Can I talk to you? Right? And then he's either, well, I don't deal with this, but I know somebody who does, or, you know what? That sounds great. I want to talk about it. That is the core foundation of any pitch, a 2-sentence. If you cannot summarize what you're doing in 2 sentences, go back to the drawing board is my advice, right? And you can tell me, oh, I can give pitches. I don't care. If you cannot summarize what you're doing in 2 sentences, you have a problem in your pitch. That is the foundation, the core from which you build on top of. The next type of pitch is what I call the 5-minute pitch. Hey, you like my 2-sentence pitch? Great, tell me more. That tell me more is my cue, open up, right? Now, I'll tell you more about what I'm doing, what I'm trying to, how much money I'm trying to raise, what the real problem in the industry is, what the solution is, and so on and so forth. My 5-minute pitch. Ideally, you should do this without PowerPoint. PowerPoint is for people who have bad memories, right? Or haven't practiced enough. Really. 5-minute pitch, you should know it back of your heart. And it's about building credibility, because let's go back to what investors are looking for. Part of what they're looking for is they want to see if you know your stuff. 5-minute pitch, you should do it without touching PowerPoint. You should know your stuff in and out. If you don't, then practice and know it. And finally, you've got the long slog, You got invited to a meeting. You will usually be told how much time you have, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, right? And then you structure your pitch based on what needs to be delivered and what you want to communicate. So basically, those are the 3 types of pitches. Absolutely have 2-sentence summary. I even wrote it wrong. It shouldn't be 30 seconds. It should be a 2-sentence summary. That is the core, the foundation stone of your pitch. Then you build a 5-minute pitch without PowerPoint. Here's where I'm playing. Here's the industry in general. Here's the solution. Here's the problem in the industry. Here's the solution that I'm trying to build. Here are my core people. Here's how much money I need. Here's how much I'm going to spend. And here's how big the market is. And here's my competition. 5 minutes, you should know this stuff, right? And from that foundation of 5 minutes that was built on your 2-sentence summary, you can build out any number of variations of long pitches that you can dream of. But don't make the mistake of building a big pitch and forgetting your foundational stone. Core. These are the 3 lessons that helped me raise, in my career so far, I've raised over, $10, $12 million for all my companies. Forget, and also include, recruiting people and all that stuff, and clients and selling. These are the 3 fundamental points of pitching. Get to the point quickly. Oh my God, I have a heart attack anytime somebody comes up and pitches And the first 3 seconds, I don't know what they're doing. Oh, I want to show you this beautiful picture about something I took on a vacation somewhere. I don't care, get to the point. I'm listening to 20 pitches a day. You think I care about your vacation picture? Get to the point. Which is sometimes what I call it, less is better, right? Don't put anything in the pitch that's not going to help you get your objective, your ask. What is your ask? Will this support my ask? Yes or no? Right? To the point, fast. Within 30 seconds, whoever's listening to you should know the industry you're in, should know at a high level what you're trying to do. The 2-sentence pitch. Know your audience. With all respect, some audiences are dumber than 9th grade elementary school students. Some are smarter, right? With all respect, don't have one pitch. Modulate it. If you're talking to a group of investors who know your industries, maybe they're ex-entrepreneurs who've exited your industry. They know your industry in and out. If you talk down to them, you're out of that room in 3 seconds. You have no credibility with them. But if they're not, if they're, biotech background and you're pitching an ICE technology or whatever, then modulate your pitch. Know your material, know your audience. Modify your pitch based on your ask, based on your audience. Does that make sense? Yeah? Know your audience. I mean, it's not difficult. I mean, with LinkedIn, you could look up anybody and see what they've done in their past. Credibility and knowledge are really everything. When you are up there pitching, what are you doing? You're asking for your ask. But pitching is 2 ways. What's the return way?
Confidence.
Not just confidence, but you're listening to me, right? If I appear that I don't know my stuff, if I show you that I can't go in and build a team, if I appear that I'm not the person to lead this company, will you feel comfortable investing in me? A pitch is one data point that investors gather about you as a person and as a pitch team. It's not just the material you're pitching, but also how you are pitching it. If you do not appear as an industry expert, you are in trouble. If you do not appear that you are credible, you are in trouble. That's why spelling mistakes are bad, because it looks like you're a chaotic person who doesn't know how to pay attention to details. You're building a company with my money, and you're making spelling mistakes? I don't want to give you my money, right? Credibility is really everything in a pitch. You've got to come across as somebody who can execute on what they're talking about in an investment pitch. Does that make sense so far? Yeah? Any questions before I... No? Everybody's busy eating. Okay. Let's wake you up a bit. When I see these mistakes, I'm going to talk about 4 common mistakes I see a lot in pitches. And they drive me nuts, and I'm sure they drive a lot of investors nuts. I mean, guys, back me up if you disagree. Or, shoot me down if you disagree. Don't use complicated languages unless you know the audiences ask for it. If you put up a chart of how you're going to build your tech system to a VC group, I can guarantee, I will write a guarantee and sign it right now, a legal one, we'll notarize it, that you will get kicked out of the room because you've lost them. Do not use anything that is not going to advance your ask, right? If they ask you, keep it in the appendices, that's fine. If they ask you, oh, how are you going to build it? Hey, bring it up. But if they don't ask you, don't use complicated material, right? Keep it simple unless you know your audience and they ask for it. The second thing, I think we talked about it though. Forget the text for a moment. It's a 2-way street. A pitch, you are a storyteller, you are an actor, right? Actors, they have control over their facial expressions, they have control over their body language, they have control over their voice, they have control over their tone. If I come up here and I tell you about my company and I talk in a monotone, I guarantee I'll have everybody sleeping in 2 minutes. Is that a safe bet? Does anybody want to put money on it? I think you're all sleeping already. Right? But if I come up and say, hey, here's my company, right? And I use everything I have, that full 2-way street, body language, facial expressions, looking at people, getting them excited. I want to get you excited about my company. Bring that energy up, right? You know, make jokes, crack jokes, depends on your audience. Some audience don't like it, some do. Try and figure it out, you do homework. Develop a relationship, tell a story, be interactive, get people excited. Second thing, and I think I've already talked about it, but I just want to wham it home. Oh my God, oh. Don't use PowerPoint, really, just have summaries of points, talk about it, unless you need to go into details. If you have anything up there that people are reading, then they are not listening to you, right? If you are reading that PowerPoint, you are not listening to me. If you are not listening to me, you are not getting excited. If you're not getting excited, I'm not getting my money. Follow through that chain. If it doesn't advance your ask, don't put it up there. And finally, don't forget you are telling a story about your business or your venture or whatever it is you're doing. You are telling a story. Storytelling is the key element to pitching. I think everybody's been saying that. I just want to repeat it for effect. Because I've seen so many pitches. Get up, read PowerPoint, sit down. And then they come and call me and say, Chad, I didn't get my money. They hate me. The world is against me. No, you just didn't pitch well. Right? End the story. Any questions?
Jad, I'll ask you the question. I've learned a lot from you. From my personal experience pitching, I found, well, first of all, the first question. Would you email the presentation pitch?
Right, what?
Would you send the email to your investor with presentation pitch?
Unsolicited?
Yeah.
Did they ask you to send it?
Yeah, if his assistant would ask you.
Yeah, if they ask you, then send it, of course.
The second question, if you come to the presentation pitch, and the first word investor would tell you, look, I've read the presentation, tell me how we're gonna make money. You have to 1 minute.
That's why you should know your material, man. That's why you should practice, right? That's why you should have, that's the first thing I started with, is you've got to know your material. You've got to get flexible, on your feet. They're testing you. Investors will do everything they can to understand what type of person you are. It's their fright. They are giving you a lot of money. They are investing in you. So if they want to test how flexible and how agile you are mentally, that could be something they want to do. You don't just go for it. Go have fun, man. Make sense?
Thanks.
Anything else? Yep.
If you are sending the second deck, or like just to feed off my last question, and you're not there to present it anymore, right? They would have already seen the presentation, but you're sending that. Would you then create a second, more detailed deck?
It depends on what they ask for. If they ask for a more detailed presentation,
Yeah.
then you go with it. You go with the flow, right? Now, I wouldn't advise you challenging your investors too much, especially if you're first-time entrepreneurs. If they ask for a more detailed investment pitch, ask them why, try to understand what their needs are, and then create something that caters to their needs, right? You're gonna jump through multiple hoops to get that money. You should bend over like a pretzel to make them happy, right? Yep.
What about the game of afterwards? They don't exactly say yes, they don't exactly say no.
Yes, welcome to my world. No, they don't. I mean, look, I don't want to sound too politically incorrect, but getting investment dollars like dating, right? It's very similar. You know, there's supply, there's demand, and there's a certain courtship period that you have to go through. They're getting to know you, you're getting to know them. They have something you want, you have something they want, so on and so forth. It's my best advice, really, and this has worked wonders for me in the past, is, you know, pitch, ignore. Move on, pitch, ignore, move on. Do not stop until you have money in the bank. Nothing else matters. If you get an investor and they tell you, oh, come and pitch, you pitch. Don't wait on the phone. Go find the next investor to pitch to. If they call you, that's great. If they don't call you, that's fine. Maybe if they don't call you after 2 weeks, what I like to do is I send them an email or a note. I say, hey, listen, I haven't heard from you. You know what, is there any chance we can continue the conversation? If I don't hear back from them, I'll tell them thank you very much. You know, always keep it nice, always keep it polite, because investors, no matter what they tell you, they talk. They get to beer together once a month in a secret cabal, and they say, oh, I met this guy, he's an asshole, right? And nobody will take the meeting anymore. I'm serious, it happens. Not to that extent, but you know, it's a small community. They talk amongst each other. Be polite. Don't wait on the phone. Keep looking, is my advice. That's it?
Well, I wanted to ask
Yeah.
about one thing. You said the pitch is a story.
Mhm.
So I would like to ask you for some comments on that, and what do you focus in the story? On a product, or in the company, or what?
So this is an investment pitch. You're asking me about an investment pitch in particular? Who are you pitching to? Who's your audience?
Let's stay with the investment.
Okay, investors. So what are the two things investors care about?
Money.
Yeah, okay, money's one, but what else about, what is it about money that they care about? How much do you need, and how much am I gonna get back and how, right? So money's not just, it's not just money. Money's, how much do you need? How much do I have to shell out? And how am I gonna get it back? You know, rough picture. So those are the two things you focus on. So what is the driver of how much money do you need? It's your cost structure. Who are you gonna hire? How are you gonna execute? What do you need to build a company? So you need to talk about, you know, how are you going to, what is it you're building and how you're gonna execute it. Now let's talk about the revenue. How am I gonna make my money back, right? What do you need for making money? Who pays you money? Come on, it starts with a C. Customers, yeah, that's right, clients, customers. So you gotta identify who they are. Now, why are they gonna buy your product? You know, one way, you know, I think Jen talked about it very well. Never start with your product. Nobody cares about your product, right? Like, let's take an example. Hi, I'm here to tell you about this wonderful vacuum. You know, it's a great vacuum. It's got 10,000 horsepower, and it's got a big suction nose. Would you buy it? Most likely not. You're just gonna slam the door in my face. The way that I like to approach, and I think a lot of successful entrepreneurs approach, hey, listen, you know what? With the proliferation of carpets today and lots of dust in the house, there's a lot of dust in your house. And most vacuum cleaners that you have, they're not powerful enough to suck up that dust. So let me introduce to you this new vacuum cleaner. It's 10 times more powerful than anything you have. It's cheaper, and at the same time, it's got a wider nozzle, so it can suck up more dust. That means you have to travel less on the carpet, right? That's what I mean. You set up with the problem, you talk about your product, right? And that's why customers are gonna buy it. Who are these customers? Where are they? How much are they gonna pay you? So you've gotta focus on the cost structure, and then on the revenue structure, and that is one way to structure a pitch. There are dozens of others. Jeff has shown one pitch example. I've got dozens. I'm happy to share my templates with you. There's tons of things on the internet. The point is understand why you're doing what you're doing and who your audience is. Okay? Any other questions? No?